Yeah.
Thank you for swapping out the Zoom link, Nancy.
I'm glad I saw it early. I was either going to be way early or way late, so I'm glad I'm way early.
Oh, good. Okay.
So where do we begin?
Let's look at the agenda, shall we? Let's see. I think Lisa put the agenda together on this round, right?
Yeah, well,
With
together so I can
assistance. Yeah.
I'm basically just telling everybody, please put something on the agenda.
That's the cool part of this. That's how we can do that. We don't have to, you're not the only one who can access the doc, so it makes it easier. But yeah, reminding us all is what we're doing, really.
Nancy, do you still hear an echo?
Say something again.
Is there still an echo?
No.
Okay, thank you.
All right.
I want to welcome Cheryl to our board. This is her first meeting, so welcome, Cheryl.
Welcome, Cheryl.
It's good to be here.
Good to have you here.
And I think you haven't met Andrew yet, have you?
Oh, no.
No, we've kind of just text back and forth.
Good.
But no, I've just met him today for the first time, and Solani too.
Yay. Okay. Yay. And we know each other through all sorts of different ways. Solani actually stayed here. The way I met Solani because she came here through Airbnb.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. That's how we met. And Andrew is one of the co-editors for Mudium and some of the other publications, and he is a retired tech exec. And so he helps us out of all kinds of sticky situations and is an advocate for our tech in all the spaces that we're in, which is a wonderful gift. It's a huge gift. Thank you for that.
You're welcome.
Yeah. See, and Cheryl is the poet laureate right now for the garden.
Oh, nice.
Congratulations.
Very nice.
She's our third poet laureate. Yeah, really nice.
Pretty cool.
Yeah.
I love your prompts. I wish I had more time. I'm keeping track of them. I just want you to know.
Oh.
All right, so I'm looking at maybe the thing to do would be to share. I'm looking at the screen with the canvas, and maybe I'll share that screen for everybody just to facilitate. Let's do that. All right, can you see that?
Yes.
Great. Okay, so we have review unfinished business from March. What unfinished business do we have? Did we ever wrap up the royalty discussion?
No, I have two people that we need to send money to. Solani, you happen to be one of those people. And maybe I can get with Solani and figure out our process of how that's going to happen, since she works with me and we discuss the publishing branch all the time. Yeah, Solani, would you be open to doing that at some point?
Yeah, I'm available this weekend, so you let me know your availability. So
yeah,
we can go back to our Saturday meetings again. So that's exciting.
Okay, good. I'll message you about that because yeah, that's the kind of the last step. My only question for you, I guess, Susan, is how would you use Venmo or PayPal? And Lisa, I think you had some input on this too, that which ones did the reporting?
It has to do with 1099s. When you send a royalties, you have to send a 1099. But if you use PayPal or Venmo, they handle that for you.
Which is a nice thing. Is that what you do, Lisa?
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, we could just make that a requirement. We will pay through Venmo or PayPal.
And we can
And
do that with,
or PayPal. I mean, I don't know. I don't think we have a Venmo yet, but I mean, we certainly could get one. But I think it would be easier only because uh, this whole year-end tax thing, especially when we're, I mean, doing the year-end tax paperwork without a dedicated person to help me with it is really a challenge. So if we can automate it and Venmo and PayPal do that for us, I'm in favor.
so my next question is which one would work the best? If I pay people through PayPal, is there money there? Is that where the money from publishing is going? Or Venmo would be attached to our bank account and that's where our money is going?
No, so Zelle is attached to our bank account. So if Zelle doesn't do a thing like that and PayPal does, and we don't have a Venmo account, then we should pay it through PayPal. And no, we shouldn't assume that it's in PayPal, but we have links between the bank account and PayPal. So there's usually money in the PayPal account, but not always. So I would say that before we're going to make payments out of PayPal, we just say, we're going to make a payment on this day to our people and it's going to come out of PayPal. And then we just make sure that the money is in that PayPal account. And if it's not, we just transfer some over from the bank account.
Well, so the way PayPal should work is, I don't recall if you said you had linked it to your bank account.
Yeah, it is.
It should, the
Draw
way
it.
the algorithm should work is you want to pay like a certain chunk of money. It will first try to take it out of your PayPal balance if it's there. If it's not, it should take it out of either your credit card or your bank account, whatever you have linked to PayPal.
That's exactly how it works.
Yeah, so let's use PayPal. I mean, I think that because those linkages are there, let's just use that. And if they take care of that 1099 at the end of the year, it's a huge time savings.
So, and that PayPal account is linked to the garden account.
Mhm.
Okay, good. Okay, that's what okay. All right. Then
But make sure, like before you do it, the first test run, let's make sure we get the right PayPal account because remember there's two.
okay. Okay, Solani, are you okay to be the test run?
Yes, I'll be happy to be the guinea pig.
That's what she and I will work on, is how to set that up. Yeah, okay. I know Lisa, I think I've learned so much from you. I think it'll be easy for her and I just set it up and then maybe I run it by you to see that we've done it right, unless she wants some
Okay.
input on.
Sure.
Okay, all right. I'm good.
Hey.
Anyone?
I think the other thing is, I don't know if there's anything else on that paying authors.
No, that was it. I just want to get that completed.
Yeah.
Some of them may ask you for an annual report. So
Say that again?
some authors may ask you to do an annual report. It's kind of an individual kind of thing. I don't give annual reports to authors unless they ask for them.
Okay. Well, we've been through the control so many times and we can do that. I can get an annual report. Yeah, okay.
They're not hard to do. It's just I don't do them if I don't have to.
Yeah, I think just this time through, because it is the first time and I am this far behind, it would be good to have that, just even in my records, that individual, so I'm not looking at the big spreadsheets. Okay, makes sense. Thank you.
All right, other March business. I see I did nothing on the monthly drumbeat for Microsoft Rewards. So
What do we need to do on that? Just
well,
tell
my idea was that we'd record a video, that I'd record a video and show it, like, so it's show instead of tell.
Okay.
And that if people watch the video about how they can have money sent to the garden automatically just by using Bing, that they would start to do that. So I just haven't gotten around to doing the video. That's all.
Okay.
So I'll try to do that before the next meeting.
Andrew, is that what you were talking about? Same thing?
Yes.
Okay. Okay.
Oh, that's what you put on the agenda up here.
Yeah, it's the same thing.
Same thing. Yeah.
I would add that it looks like our donations, at least the ones that I made, I don't know if anyone else has, have gone into something of a black hole. So I finally figured out how to ask Microsoft, and after several passes of saying, no, that's not what I asked, um, they said that my Microsoft Rewards donations were sent to Benevity, but they're not showing up in Benevity. So now I'm doing several passes of trying to get Benevity to answer my question just to see where stuff went.
I seem to recall that there were some deposits like at the end of the year last year.
There were, but I haven't seen anything new. The last stuff that I saw was from 2024.
Let's see,
And that money from 2024 was sent to us like maybe a month ago because they have built-in delays. But I'm trying to figure out where the newer donations are.
yeah. Let me see something.
Is Benevity a different charity that you were doing this before too? Is that how is, or is that?
No, so the way this works is Microsoft, it used to be called Microsoft Bing. Now it's called Microsoft Rewards. You go to Microsoft Rewards, they have these silly little games you can play to earn points, but
Right.
the most effective way to earn points outside of buying Microsoft stuff is to just use Bing as your search engine and be logged into Microsoft in your browser when you're doing it. So that's how I generate points because I tend to do a lot of web searches. Uh, Microsoft then sends the money to some, I forget the name of it, some organization in the UK which coordinates all this stuff. Then, to make it really confusing, that organization deposits the money with Benevity. So after Lisa told me that she's been donating to the garden, uh, I went into Benevity and set up a garden account
Mm.
because the money doesn't go to your charity unless you set it up. It's very odd because they seem to have a database of 501(c)(3)s. So you can, it can be populated there and people can donate to it, but Benevity can't give you the money until you set up an account. And, I got like the bank account information from Susan. So that had to be in place for us to actually get the money. So
I
that is now in
donated
place, and that's
to,
what Benevity does.
I'm wondering if, because I donated to when we started it, and when I donated, I selected the garden. So I'm wondering if those funds, they still kind of on hold and then they will be deposited after you set it up. I hope they do that.
Well,
That's
when did you do it?
I think within the same week that I saw Susan's post, it had to be like within 1 or 2 weeks.
so
So
could
So
be,
when was that, like calendar wise?
could be about a month ago.
I don't know.
So any money that comes through PayPal, any of our PayPal fundraisers, anything we're specifically talking about Bing here. Everything else
Mhm.
automatically flows to us. That nobody has
No,
to worry.
I did the Bing point donation.
The Bing point donation. So
Mhm.
do you remember what the line item for that looks like, Andrew? Hold on one second. I have the bank account up. Hold on one second.
Yeah, you won't be able to figure out whether a specific person's donation, but
No,
they cut us a check for like $8.21 or something like
something
that.
something small.
Yeah.
Mm.
So there's another $3 queued up, but
Uh,
I started using this in January, and my January donations should be in Benevity, and they're not. So there may be other people like Solani or Lisa or others.
yeah.
I'm not seeing new donations after 2024. So I'm trying to get the Benevity people to help me, but it's like pulling teeth.
Hmm.
I
Okay.
wonder if yeah, you're right. What's the delay? Is it like it looks like three,
Well,
4,
there is a known delay which they document, but it's not as big as the
3
way it's
months.
supposed to work is they aggregate all the donations for a month, and then like about 6 weeks at the end of the month, you're supposed to see the donations. And I'm still looking into it. I'll let you know what I find out if I do.
Interesting.
If
Okay.
you talk to them, this is a bank account. If you talk to them, like there's a ask if you do get somebody, ask them what the register um thing looks like, what the statement, what it looks like on the statement when they make that deposit. So for
Yeah,
instance,
so the issue isn't the disbursements to our bank account.
yeah,
So first they have to show up in Benevity as donations,
right,
and then they get dispersed.
right,
That
but
piece is working, but
okay,
the
but
donations that are incoming from Microsoft Rewards aren't showing up. And
So,
I run reports that validate that.
okay,
The
but what I'm
last
saying is
Microsoft,
on this bank
yeah,
account,
you
I
want to know
don't
which
know
ones those are.
which of these is coming in from them. So I can't,
LSI, anything that says LSI, there was another one that said something else,
oh,
LSI.
well, I can tell you what
Those
the
are
amount was if
LSI
publishing.
that
Those are
helps.
yeah,
publishing.
okay, that's publishing all
Yeah.
this LSI.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay. Well, good. So, um, okay. So if you
I'll tell
know,
you the amount that came in. I
okay.
think you said you saw it
Yeah, but
after
I
it
don't
came
remember
in.
what the line, what the
Line item,
register
right.
thing says.
Curious.
All
All
right.
right,
Well,
give me a
while we're
second and I'll
here,
tell
just so
you.
you know, here is, I know merch payout, that's coming in from that's coming from Neon, and this merch payout is the result of all the retreats and Right Like Stephen King program and etc. This is Neon, what it costs to run Neon, and that's Miro, and then there's TechSoup, and there's your Winston AI, and there's Zoom. So what's happening is we're getting, here's Mighty Networks. So we're getting, at this point, we're getting a good amount of income to stay ahead of our tech bill. That's a good thing. This is the checking account, and this is the account that's linked to the PayPal account. That's what's in it right now. And if we look at also, there's two accounts that are there's two accounts, sorry, my personal stuff is in here too, so never mind about that. But there are two accounts that are associated with the garden. It's that $1,900 one, and then this is the savings account. So it just seemed to make sense to put some of that, a little extra of the money. It's not a lot of interest, but some of the interest, some of the money that was in this checking account from the garden is in this savings account. So if the checking account ever needs to have money infused that can come out of this savings account, and this is earning just a little interest.
Wait,
And that's another $960. Yeah, so anyway, yeah, if you have, so I'm not going to worry too much about the video. I will get the video done and it'll start accumulating if more people do it. But I think it'll be important to, yeah, figure out where they're putting, where that money's going. If it's just sitting in a pot somewhere, it's
I
not.
didn't have mine set up, since that I had done that dump and then I put a hold on it till I was making sure they all got the money. So I just now went in and did a dump. So you should get 4,623 points. I made,
Points.
if you want to watch that to see.
Yeah, I have several thousand points accumulated too, and it's set up automatically to go to the garden. So that's, I
Mine's
think
reset
that's
now.
right. That's what I want to do with the video, is to show people how easy that is to do. It's not a lot of money, but it adds up.
Yeah, it
Every little bit
compounds.
helps.
hmm?
Let's see. So that's that. I'll also show you. This is the and then there's two PayPal accounts. I think one has about $300 in it, and one has maybe like $100 in it. And so that's money that just flows back and forth between the bank account and the PayPal.
Is there one we should use over the other?
Yeah, you should use the one that's attached to the garden, that's officially attached to the garden. And that one has its own credit card number, and its own account. And if you need to log into that, just let me know and I'll get you the credentials.
Um, yeah, we might need to do that so Solani and I can make payments when we do Saturday.
Yeah. Oh, let's see, hold on. Let me put that screen back up. Screen. There we go. Okay, so that was that. Golnaz, I still haven't heard from her, so I'm kind of struggling along with paperwork, year-end paperwork. I'm almost done. I filed what was required for the nonprofit with the IRS, so that's not the issue. The issue is I just have some minor things that I have to get out before the 15th.
Hello?
Hello?
Hey,
What happened?
Solani was talking. I muted her.
Oh, thanks.
Okay,
Sorry, I was looking at the screen.
that's okay.
I think we didn't talk about this. Do we want to sponsor any college internship program this summer? But as it turns out, there's two people that are interested, and so it doesn't have to put any burden on Mudium at all, but there's two people who are interested in publishing, which I think is probably a better use of interns at this point, because we have two people who are very keenly interested in helping with publishing as volunteers. And it's not tied to college or college schedules. So it doesn't require, they've kind of self-nominated, and so we don't have to really do anything extra. So I think we should go ahead with that.
Andrew, do you think Mudium needs help with an intern? Or is that a major undertaking to be an intern or internee?
I'm not sure that the investment is going to be worth the return. It's a fairly big investment, we found out, to have an intern. And to be honest, we're too late really to recruit a summer intern at this point, which we found out from previous experience. I don't think we're at the point where we have sufficient person power to do the mentoring that would justify the amount of work we're going to get in return. So probably not.
Yeah, I agree. But in publishing is a whole different thing, because these are people that are interested in hands-on experience with publishing, and they want to volunteer. And as we ramp up some more things, I know you're opening submissions, Nancy. I am sure that we can use that extra help. There's a little investment in terms of what we have to do to train them, but I'm happy to sit through that training too, so it's not lost. And of course, it won't be lost because you've already got it, Nancy. Okay, so that's a done. How do we feel about Slack being our gender plus space for now?
Kind of already is, isn't it?
Well, it is, yeah. But I mean, officially calling it that.
How do you make it officially? And
Yeah,
one of my questions is, when people come in, how many of these places do they see? Just the ones that aren't with the lock on them, or?
yes, everything they can see is everything has a hashtag over here.
Okay.
So if we wanted them to see something that's not under a hashtag, like if you wanted to say have a see, there's nothing for publishing unless it's under garden publishing. No.
I don't think I have anything in here yet. Okay.
So you could have a hashtag, you could create something and call it, garden publishing or publishing garden, or whatever you want to call the channel. Make it an open channel and see who comes. For sure, Ella would come and Erica would come, because those are the people who are interested right off the bat.
Well, you can invite them too, right?
Yeah, of course. Yeah. Yeah. Once you go into one of these, like let's go into, this is random. So, well, it has everybody's just in random, but some of these came later after people started. Like, so for instance, here's Wordsmiths Weekly. And we started this channel after we had already built up 260 some followers in the Slack group. So only 53 people are in this channel, but they could find it and join it, or we could just add people if we wanted. Oh, you don't know about the channel? Let us add you. We can add people. Okay. So here's the members, and it says add people. So if you're not in that channel, I can just put your name in here and it'll pull it up.
Excellent.
Like there's Sherelle. Right. So these are people that aren't in the channel yet. Mm-hmm. So I can either add them or they can find it and they can join it either way. And that's how those public channels work.
Public channels.
Yeah, that's a public channel.
If they have access to one private channel, do they have access to all private channels?
No, absolutely not. A private channel is a private channel, and the people that are in it have to be added by one of the members of this channel, or I think anybody can add anybody. Is that right? I think that's right. Right, Andrew.
Say that again.
I think anybody who's in a locked channel can add a person.
I believe that's true. Yes.
Yeah. And that's how they do it. They just go in, they look at the member list, they go to add people. I think everybody here on this list has that capability to add someone. But what we find is there's generally people who are more active in the locked channels who kind of act as de facto administrators, and they're the people who invite and add people. So you don't find people just randomly adding anybody into a locked channel.
Okay.
It just doesn't work that way.
Well, I think it's a good idea to do it that way then. To start the gender plus space as a specific channel and then invite them to different spaces as they evolve, I guess. I don't know.
Yeah.
Maybe
And
evolve not the right word, but expand or
and this is a free, this is something that Andrew secured for us. This is unlike the Garden, the Mighty Network that we pay for, Slack is 100% free.
wow.
We don't pay anything for this.
Yeah, then that's the way to go. I think that's my vote.
Susan, is that
Yes.
something that we do? Is free for the nonprofit or is free for the every organization?
No, it's free it's because we're a nonprofit.
Okay.
It's because Andrew, sought out all the tools and tech and things that are available for us that are either discounted or free. And Slack happens to be one of those companies that offers nonprofits free access to their tool, which is really exceptional. It's not normal. There's a lot of discounted offers for things, but generally to have it be 100% free is really. Mighty Network does absolutely nothing for nonprofits, not even a discount.
So just to clarify a bit with Slack, Slack has several tiers. There is a free tier of Slack, which like you could get one for your family if you wanted to, but it's very limited. The data times out after 90 days, so you can't see your stuff. So you're searching, and it's like I could swear I put this information in there and it's gone. And then after a year, it's gone forever. Plus, there's a lot of things you can't do if you want to have a Slack huddle. You can only have 2 people on it. So what I did was I applied for us to get what's called a pro plan, which has all of the bells and whistles, which means our data's there forever. We could have huddles with lots of people on them, and then there's a bunch of other bells and whistles. So the garden actually has, we have a membership in TechSoup, which is sort of a nonprofit that helps nonprofits with tech. And we've gotten a bunch of stuff from them. Some of it's free and some of it's discounted. Like this Zoom call that we're on, we got a pretty hefty discount from TechSoup for the Zoom accounts that Nancy and Susan use. So we have a lot of stuff. If anyone ever wants more information, I can show you all the stuff that we have from them. I mean, as far as Slack for a gender neutral space, it's fine with me. Slack has a lot of stuff. It doesn't have a lot of stuff that Mighty Networks has. So I think if we want to use Slack for a gender neutral space, which we are a little bit, and if we want all of the functionality or some of the functionality that's in the women only version of the garden, we have to find some tools to go with it. And I think Susan had some ideas about the main one in my mind was, course content, which seems like it's a big part of the original female garden. And we probably would want to look into something to go along with Slack for that. I don't know if we need to actually define what we want the gender neutral garden to look like. Should it have the complete set of all the original garden functionality, or should it have a subset of it?
Hmm. When you
If you
say
go ahead, Nancy.
when you say the functionality, you mean all the different spaces that we have within the garden?
Well, like what can people do in the garden? is really the question that I would ask. And if I was a product manager, which I never was, I was always on the engineering side, I would probably say, give me a list of all of the use cases of what the people can do in the garden. Like a use case would be, I want to make a course that I want to teach to whatever women in this organization want to take the course. Like that would be an example of a use case. Or I want to have a group chat with other members of the garden. So in other words, all of the things that you want people in the garden to do, being in the garden. So generally you define a bunch of use cases and those become like the product requirements.
Okay.
I mean, we don't necessarily have to be that rigorous about it, but I think we do have to define what can people do in the gender neutral garden. If people want to just talk to each other, Slack can do it. Like we can set up channels and have interest groups and whatever. If people want to be able to teach classes that require like hosting content, that's not really something that Slack does. That's something that we would probably want one of the platforms that Susan seems to know about.
Well, I will just say that we're in the second cohort of Write Like Stephen King. So it depends on how rigorous we want coursework to look like. Like, so for instance, we have two cohorts. We probably doubled in size from the first cohort. This was the syllabus for cohort 1, which just basically had, the assignments by week. It had resources, what to read. It included videos of sessions in case somebody missed them, and it included uh these are all resources and books, etc., and files. And then we closed that for comments, and then we moved to cohort 2, and we did the same thing. We just said, we started again, and we said, okay, here are the assignments for cohort 2, week by week, what you're going to read. I added goal setting, and then that's our video recording for the first week. And then books that we're working and studying through, and links for places to submit your work, because we're actually also encouraging people to set goals as writers and build their resumes as writers. And so from that perspective, there is coursework, but it's not it and it is asynchronous, so they can come and they can look at those syllabuses anytime. And they can also chat in this space, and that's all within this locked channel.
That works.
And it works. And so, I mean, it really absolutely makes it so that I don't have to go to another platform at all, as long as I don't get too, I'm not like grading or,
Right.
I mean,
Andrew,
if that's sufficient, if that's, that's a perfectly legitimate way of defining the product requirement. If that's what you want the gender neutral space to be, then that can be what it is.
my question to you, Andrew, are you familiar with Glide?
No.
Okay, so it's this platform where we pretty much build the app ourselves. I'm trying to look here and see if they have a nonprofit discount, but I'm not able to see it. But that's something where we could, create the app without any codes. But I'm trying to see if they have the discount, how much it will be, but I'm hitting that right block. I'm going to type it in the chat. It's something to put in the, for the future and see if it's something that may be convenient in the future. But yeah, I can't find anything.
think right now, just figuring out so, Susan, you had cohort 1, cohort 2. What are those, what are those spaces going to be when you talk about a gender neutral space?
Well, they are. I mean,
Are
anybody
they going to
can,
be about writing? Are they going to be, what are they coming together to do in that space?
in those cohorts, right? Like Stephen
In that gender plus space? What would they be coming together to do in that gender plus space? Would we be
Well,
holding
I think that was what
tabletops?
Andrew,
Would we be doing, what would we be doing in those spaces?
so I
Writing,
think,
you know,
that's was Andrew's question. He said, well, it's for us to say, is Slack sufficient for us? What are the use cases? How are we using a space that is co-ed, that is all gender, that is, or gender neutral? How are we using it? How will we use it? How do we foresee using it? And I think right now Slack is using that. We could, just like Mighty Networks was for the women only space, kind of a test space to see, well, how does it get used? It's not so much us saying we will do this, although we certainly can do that if we choose to, but more, how will the people use it when given the space, right?
okay.
That's really, in my mind, that's really the hallmark of a healthy space, is that people go into the space and then they use it and they run up against potentially, hey, here's the thing I'd like to do, but I can't because the technology limits me. But so far, I haven't seen that happen with Slack, given the people that are there and how they're using it. We can have certainly the foresight to say, well, this is how we'd like to use it, but you don't always know. You can say, I want to use it this way, but that doesn't mean the people will use it that way, just because
Right,
you say so,
okay, that makes sense.
right? Like that happened, that's definitely happened in the women's space in the garden, in the Mighty Networks. The things that people gravitate to are less about what is the technical function, more about who are the people in the space, right?
That makes
Because
sense.
people follow. They say, look, here's a strong voice here. I like this voice. I like what they're telling me. I like what they're saying. I like what they're hosting. I want to be part of that.
Is a Facebook group an option for that?
Well, several of us are not Facebook fans, although we know there are a lot of people on Facebook. I'm actually even seeing, for the Facebook group that I started years ago for Mudium, it does not get the same kind of, even though it's a closed group, it does not get anywhere near the attention, the love, the postings, the engagement. It doesn't get anything like what it got in the beginning.
I guess because of the distraction and the algorithm changes. So either people are avoiding Facebook or their attention being swept away with the algorithm recommendations and reels. So
Yeah.
that makes sense.
Where are they going instead, Susan? Is it Medium? Is it Substack? Is it Threads? Is it Blue Sky? Where are they going instead? That's the question.
It's such a good question, and they're
But
going everywhere. People are very opportunistic, and they'll go where they think they can serve their needs. So what are their needs? Um,
Well, I'm wondering
if they think that they want to make money, oh, I'm not making money on Medium anymore, I'm going to go join Substack because I can make money there. Oh,
Right.
I'm not building a following on Facebook. Oh, let me see where I can go build a following. We had one of our writers just say, I'm never going to leave Twitter because I have a good following there and it keeps growing. And that's all he cares about. He doesn't care about the politics of the space. He just cares about the following. So what you find is that everybody's got their own needs and their own thing that they care about, which brings me kind of to this space called Coralus. That I found out about Coralus through Inner MBA. Met a couple of people there. It's really interesting. It's really an all women's space, but they require um a big chunk, like a huge monetary investment to be part of it. You cannot join their mighty network and their group unless you put money in. And they stress reciprocity, and they dangle a carrot that says, we take all the money we get and we issue grants with it. That's the carrot they generate. So they have all kinds of women business owners who join it, who pay the whatever it is. It's a lot of money. It's not a small investment. It's a lot of money. And then they and with the hope, because it's not a guarantee, otherwise it would be a Ponzi scheme, right? Because you can't just collect money and give everybody the grant of their dreams. It doesn't work that way. It doesn't work that way.
Well,
But
I'm wondering what if we
it attracts
focus
these people who are looking for money. So the people in there are business owners looking for money, looking for connection, looking for a lot of what we provide in the garden without the promise of getting money back. Coralus says, we promise everything you're getting in the garden in terms of connection and community and the meaningful relationships, and the hope and the promise that you might be eligible for a grant. And on that basis, they sign up.
Well, the key word there is attracting. So I think we need to just pick a space where we're going to work on and focus attracting people to that space or those spaces, whatever they are. But yeah, trying to get off of Facebook, trying to get off of Meta, trying to get off of that. It'll just take time. That's all.
One of the things I like about, and I want to talk to you about something that is, I don't know if we have it up here, but it has to do with publishing. So anyway, I wanted to bring that up about Coralus because they are getting that money. It is coming in, and they have a budget of millions of dollars, and then they have a circle or a committee of people that you can apply for the grants, and then and it's a true donut economy, and then they will put it out, or even loans, they'll put it out and it will come back. And so it just keeps flowing, which is kind of nice. Right, like Stephen King right now is generating some decent income to help the garden. And the reason that's happening is I'm leading these weekly workshops that the people are getting value out of it, right? So they know that this is a donation they're making to the garden, but it's totally worth it because they're getting coaching. But it's very specific coaching. It's coaching to get their novella written. Whether in whatever genre, and they're signing up and they love it. They're signing up for one and they're joining the second one. Lisa's in it. Lisa's participating, so she knows what it's about. I just in that right, like Stephen King, I just wanted to tell you, I have 3 poems that I'm submitting to this Oberon poetry group. It's an interesting model. It's a model that we could use. This Oberon Poetry is open for submissions all year long. They close like June through September. So all year long, they take submissions. It's $18. You can submit up to 3 poems. There's a length limit. So if you have 100 submissions, that's $1,800. They have one prize. It's $1,000 prize. And that's once a year. And then they print an anthology. And then once the anthology is printed, of course, they make revenue. They have revenue based on the sale of that anthology. So not only are they covering their upfront costs for publishing, they're awarding a prize. And this is as close as you get with a real product to what Corliss is doing. It's saying, give us your money. You're going to have the hope of something, and that's exciting. And somebody's going to come out with some money in their pocket.
Are you sure they haven't done anything since 2017?
Who, Oberon? No,
Yeah.
that's not true. No, that's not true.
I'm at oberonpoetry.com. I'm
Yeah.
looking at it says 2016 Winnie poem. You click to winners. 2016, 2017. I don't see anything 2020.
Go to their the shop where you can shop for the different anthologies.
I'm sorry, I don't see them. All right.
Anyway,
Okay.
and I've been on their website for a couple weeks now. Anyway, it's another idea. I think the idea of, go back to what Andrew said. What are the use cases? What are the things we want to work with people on?
I think we will have to go for something that is free. And then, once we have, let's say, an adequate amount of members, and who knows, maybe offering a paid subscription or something like that, we probably could migrate to something that is paid. But I definitely agree on something that is free to get started.
I mean, one way to do this, there's two things come to mind. There's sort of a top down and a bottom up. So a top down would be more formal. You'd really think about all your requirements and you'd spend a lot of time up front, and then you'd go looking at all your tech platforms to see how you meet those requirements. If you want to do it bottom up, which is kind of what we're doing, is you just start doing stuff, which
Yeah.
is really what Susan has been doing. And at some point you say, this is the gender neutral garden space. And if we want to add to it, we will, as the need arises. So you kind of using that way of thinking about it, you can kind of say, we have a gender neutral garden space and it's on Slack, and it's also, I guess, on Zoom, really, because you're doing the classes on Zoom, and that's our gender neutral garden space. And oh, do we want to do more than what we have? Can we do it with the tools we have? Great, let's do it. Do we need new tools? Well, let's go find some new tools as the need arises. That's kind of another way of thinking about it. It kind of starting to feel like the bottom up way may be the way to do it.
So, and I'm very influenced, Andrew, by, the lean studies that I did
Right.
years ago. And that is basically lean. It is bottom up. It's saying you think you might know that you have a need, but you don't really know until you try something and you get participants and they tell you if they agree with you or not that you have a need, that you've identified a need. And so in putting that, in putting like the first online retreat out and putting out, right, like Stephen King, and putting those things out, I've identified something that looks like a need. Does the audience agree? Yes, they did. They put some money into it. And then when we went to, then we tweaked it a little bit for cohort 2, and they said, yes, we still agree. And yes, more people are into it. And that is a lean methodology, bottoms up approach.
Yeah, I mean, maybe the only thing we would add to that is a more formal announcement to the world of, hey, we have this garden of neurospace for women and it's working great. And we've talked for a while about a gender neutral garden of neurospace, and we're announcing that it's here and this is what it looks like and this is how you could get involved with it.
Yeah. And then basically what happens is it evolves.
Yes.
All,
Yep.
all of it evolves and it just keeps
Yep.
evolving. Yeah.
Yep.
I think the reason that people have big tech stacks is that they do the same and they come to a place where they say, oh, here's a thing where the technology that we have is really great, but we need this too. And this over here, like neon, we need something here to fulfill this requirement that isn't embedded into this piece of software.
Yep.
It's nice if one piece of software did everything, but it's not the way the world works anymore.
Yeah. Makes sense.
What else do we want to talk about here?
I was actually going into the Oberon poetry. It got me off on that track. There are two different websites for Oberon poetry.
Oh, are
The
there?
one that's the link in the chat is, I think, possibly a defunct link. If you
Oh,
go to oberonpoetry.com without any index on it, it takes you to the current, which
that's
has
the one.
2025 stuff on it. Yeah, that's the right one.
Yeah.
So,
Did I drop I must have dropped the wrong
yeah, the
link
one with
then.
the index is defunct. They haven't done anything
Oh,
for a
well,
few
that would
years.
explain why the card didn't open up. Oh, thank you for that.
It looks pretty interesting.
Yeah, and it's a really simple model. And and I'm thinking, and as I'm thinking I'm submitting to it, which I'm going to do this week, I said to myself, well, maybe this is worth a shot for us. So like they have a really long entry period, right? Their entry period is 9 months or something. And so writers can submit anytime over that 9 month period. They pay $18. It's a PayPal thing. They can pay it through Neon just the way we do with other things. And then some team has to basically say, okay, I'm going to read all this stuff, or they read it as they go and they build a short list. They have one prize. One prize. So really they don't need 100 entries is a good number. They probably get that plus more. So it's probably a really good fundraiser for them. It lets them edit well. They could probably pay their editors, and then they probably have money left for their foundation, and then they issue this prize, and it's been going on for over 2 decades, and it's likely a very prestigious prize at this point, I would think. They've gotten some big names who have donated to their cause, and it's the kind of thing that if we chose to do that kind of thing, it's just like Stephen King. It's like, okay, let's try this. Let's try a model like this, and be able to give a little money to the people that are actually doing the work, and have it be a fundraiser for the garden too. And if it does well, we could even invest a little money in an ad, like in Poets and Writers, right? Or Poetry Magazine, some of the big places where they're advertising contests to attract more people.
And poets and writers are now have changed things up to where if you want to be like in a poetry group to work on stuff together, now they're charging you admission. Like an annual fee to be a member of that. So
Yeah,
I mean, everybody's starting to go that way, I think. No.
So, but that's going to be up to, that's up to you, Nancy. I know, Lisa, you do a lot with publishing. I'm certainly supportive of all of it. I've told Nancy I'm, willing to dig in and, do the hard work that it takes to do editing. But, I think as a board, we need to decide if that's something we want to do.
Like it. I'll do some research on it and see, put together a plan and present it.
Okay.
Sounds good. Thanks, Nancy.
Thank you all. This is great. Okay, it is top of the hour and I need to go. I apologize. We got through a lot today, though.
Yes, I had to jump off as well.
Sure.
And when is the next meeting?
Second Tuesday again?
Okay, so that will bring us to
May 13th, everybody, is that good?
Works for me. This time of day work pretty good?
So far today, yeah,
mhm.
So, we're talking about May 13th at 3, is that right?
correct.
Mhm.
Just quickly checking.
Okay.
Sure.
Cheryl, does it work for you?
Yes, it works for me.
Okay. Things we got a consensus.
Okay, well, thank you, everybody.
Yes, thanks all.
So nice to see Solani and Cheryl there. Thank you so much. I hope we didn't bore the socks off of you.
Not at all. Not at all.
Totally
So
appreciate you being here and look forward to your input. I know it's a lot, to take in. We've Susan, Lisa, and Andrew and I have been meeting for a while, so we kind of are on the same wavelength. So we look forward to on-ramping you to that wavelength.
Yeah, and if you
we
have
will
some,
get there.
Bye,
So
everybody.
thank you.
Enjoy
What
your
did you have
day.
to say, Lisa?
Lisa, yeah, what were you gonna say?
Oh,
I was just gonna say, if you have questions to, pose to the board, just post it in there. And you want to put something on the agenda, just do it. And
okay.
don't be afraid, you won't bite anybody's head off around here.
Good.
Your input is important.
Yes.
Yeah, we
Right.
want to hear your voice and your ideas.
Yep.
While you're at this table, yes. Okay, all right, ladies. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, everybody.
Bye bye.